So then the question there comes, if the people who are claiming to be elected officials, which would make them under the uh make these individuals protected by the sovereignty clause for governments, right? Like the government is exempt from torts, and they're exempt from liability and things like that, even though they do have insurance. They got bonds because they're commissioned. They have a commission. So the question is, are they acting in a capacity that they are purporting to be to the IRS? Are they exempt when they take these, create these negotiable instruments by getting your signature on chattel paper, which is tickets and court case documents and things like that? That's a very important question, because it's like, hey, if you're telling me that you're the judge, but you didn't sign your full legal name that you signed on your commission, well, does that mean that you're not acting in your capacity as a commissioned public official? Because guess what? That's an alias. If you don't sign your full legal name, that is an alias. Your full legal name is not William F. Sparks. But you kept asking me, was my name Keith O'Brien Stocks? So you're using my full legal name, but you're referencing a dead thing, something that does not really exist, but only on paper. And you're telling me that that is me, and you are refusing to return my liberty when I required my liberty to be returned to me, and to remove the disabilities of minority. And you did that in court, in open court, on the record. I asked you, William F. Sparks, if the disabilities of minority could be removed so that the state of Georgia can cease to be the guardian over Keith O'Brien Stocks, because that's what's going on, is they are acting in the capacity of a guardian, or a natural guardian, or a guardian ad litem, because it's an abandoned estate. But the estate has not been abandoned. It's just you're trying to make it appear that it's abandoned because you are getting some kind of financial gain from utilizing the assets of a decedent's estate. And I am not the decedent, because I'm not dead. I am a living soul. This is my body, my car, and you had me incarcerated for profit. And this is definitely without my consent, but it was with my knowledge. And when I said something and tried to exhaust administrative remedies, I was prevented under duress by the people purporting to be government agents or government representatives, who were really not acting in that capacity, because they were not even lawfully in their government capacity. They didn't get bonded, nor did they get a commission. And if they did, they're not utilizing the commission, because they're not signing in the name that they signed on the commission. So that means that they're doing business under an assumed name, and that in itself is a crime, because you're doing business under an assumed name without filing a trade name registration with the county that you're doing business in. If so, produce it. If you can't produce it, it's to be assumed and presumed that you intentionally harm me and my family and my estate without due process of law, and had subject me to enslavement without compensation, and have ignored all attempts to exhaust administrative remedies within each agency that I sought to exhaust said remedies. And also have the proof that you were served by certified mail, ticket number and receipt still on file, and also on file on Google, made public records. So this is just to basically say that, well, you are claiming to be the government, but you are filing your taxes as a corporation, a LLC, it says, a domestic limited liability company. And your NAICS code is any legal purpose. But see, that's the thing. Legal and lawful are not the same. And it's not legal if it's lawful, if it's unlawful. But it's even illegal because you're not doing business under a trade name. You're doing it under an assumed name or a fictitious name. And are you doing it for the purpose of hiding backup withholding from the Internal Revenue Service? And where are the W-9s to be produced for the funds that I've paid you guys every time you have insisted that I must endorse your presentments that you presented to me for acceptance, that I accept on behalf of the minor, that you presume is me and hold me as security, even though I presented you with the form, the resignation of registered agent that was already served upon Secretary of State, and y'all ignored that, and that was filed on the record. It's still on the record today. So you guys have injured me, and you guys are not even covered. So I'll have to reach out to the Internal Revenue Service. And report potential backup withholding fraud and other, I guess it'd probably contact the Department of Defense as well as the United States Department of the Justice and inform them of these felonious conduct of men and women that are out here pretending to be instrumentalities of the United States, but are not lawfully doing it, and have injured me in the process, and my family and my posterity, and has caused me mental anguish and suffering, loss of time and wages, trespass upon my estate, as well as my liberty, and all without no due process whatsoever. From day one. I don't know if this is your intent, but the evidence supports that it was. You should definitely not do harm unto others that you would not want done to yourself. But you guys are wicked, and you should repent to your Creator. I forgive you, but I don't know if the Inspector General for the Internal Revenue Service is going to be so forgiving. My advice for you is to make amends, and to your last few days in office before I proceed with impeachment procedures. It wasn't my intent to do this or to come this strong on you. And I gave you an opportunity in court to stop your trespass upon the estate of the minor that is not me, that you keep saying is me. And I tell you it could not be me because I'm in REM. And that is a dead thing. I'm not a dead thing. Now you wearing a black robe, administering dead things in your religious ceremony that you call a court, but it is in fact a religious ceremony. And I have no recourse in this religious ceremony, and therefore how can I accept a contract wherein I surrender my rights voluntarily? That's not even a valid contract. It's void because it's fraudulent. It was void ab initio. And although there's no material disagreement in that fact, because of the agreement that we have in the conditional acceptance for value that I sent to everybody on this paper here, that certified mail by the United States Postal Service, employed under the United States Post Office, which was chartered by the Postal Act or the Postal Treaties. So that's what even gives them authority to serve you guys, and they indeed did. And you guys did not respond, so therefore, in commerce, you agree. You agree to the facts, and therefore, you also agree that I can do whatever to collect the damages, which add up to $1.6 million or around that area per day that you caused me to be away from my liberty, which is my right as a being, as a existing, my right to travel, my right to pursue happiness, my right to protect my estate and my property. You've stolen my estate and my property, and you've profited from it without my consent, as well as a minor who is a decedent, because the minor has attained the age of majority, and you have fraudulently devised a way to steal the estate of his minor granting from the grantor of the estate. And if the grantor didn't exist, there'd be no estate. So therefore, where's the beneficiary's consideration for the value? Therefore, there's no contract. It's fraudulent. It must be value in exchange for consideration, and for the contract to be binding upon all parties. Otherwise, it can't be enforceable because it's not a valid contract. But you guys have been enforcing an invalid contract. So, my advice, you guys better repent, because they coming for y'all. I promise you, they are going to come for you, because you guys are literally breaking not only federal statute, you're also breaking the charter of the federal government, which is the United States Constitution, at a very fundamental level, which it has nothing to do with me. So I am not a party to the United States Constitution. And I'm not a party to any social public compact. But I do occupy an office in law as the occupant of the executor office to Keith O'Brien Stocks. And you guys have acted on behalf of the state, but have lost your immunity due to your evil practices, your bad business practices. And this is also going to be forwarded to the Securities and Exchange Commission so that we can go ahead and stop all of those securities that have been accruing from this fraudulent transaction, and was made to steal from not only the minor's estate, but to also steal from the United States, and to steal from the owners of the United States and the shareholders of the United States, and to defraud the United States, which would make you an enemy of the state as well as a terrorist. And you're committing securities frauds. But that's it. That's my little spill. If your name's on this paper and you see this video, I would suggest you stop signing with an alias and start using your full legal name if you're going to act in the capacity of a public official. Because right now, there is no public official present on any document in that court under these file numbers that are attached to the legal processes that are causing me mental anguish and stress every day, and has been for the last 2 years, and to be honest, before that, because you guys don't have on file any proper lawful documents in a proper court of competent jurisdiction. We have no dispute over the material fact of the matter, and that's there was never subject matter jurisdiction or in personam jurisdiction over the persons and peoples inside of the case. And that would be Keith O'Brien Stocks' estate and the administrator, the executorial trustee, as well as the Keith O'Brien Stocks Trust. EIN number 98601. So I'm not going to say the rest because this is going on the channel, identityconspiracy.com or Identity Conspiracy at YouTube. But I'll probably put it on a couple of the other platforms as well. But this is just to show that, these are the same people that have signed all these court documents against Keith O'Brien Stocks for burglary and a whole bunch of other statutory bonds that were filed in the form of bid bonds and surety bonds, and was initiated by men pretending to be processing jail and court processes, but it really is men and women hiding under fake names, which would mean that you're not even really doing business with the government. You would have to request a W-9 because, for one, every time you sign a document, that document becomes what's called a negotiable instrument. A negotiable instrument is a valuable document. It's a security. It can be traded on the international markets, and it can be tracked with a QSIP number. And the QSIP number will identify the location of the stock, and you can pull it up and you can see its value. So that would mean that in the international markets, there are things being traded that were procured under color of law and under a color of a lawful proceeding in order to enrich men and women who are taking the funds into tax-exempt locations but are not paying or reporting the backup withholding, and then you're turning around and filing your tax return as a government. But you're not even doing that. You're filing your tax return as an LLC, as it says here, a domestic limited liability company. Well, that doesn't sound to me like a government entity at all. Well, then that would mean that, hey, you guys are guilty of tax fraud and racketeering. And I'm going to also forward this video by email to the Inspector General of the Internal Revenue Service. And they're going to see this and they're going to say, well, hey, this is probable cause. We'll go ahead and arrest him. So just know that if you guys try to claim that you're a government entity on this this W-9 I'm going to have sent to you, there are 1099 forms for every single status election that you can send me. So I'm going to make sure that you guys are paying your taxes on the income you've received for me in the past by way of endorsement. You say you had me sign a single piece of paper, then you better be accountable for the original. That's all I gotta say. Because the Internal Revenue Service is going to go ahead and audit, as they're going to be directed to do by the executor. And I'm going to proceed to claim those abandoned funds and proceeds and distributions, because if you guys are tax exempt, then why are you filing corporate? And also, I will receive your taxpayer identification number for the purposes of getting the trust to bring you guys before an equitable court of competent jurisdiction for monetary damages, as well as punitive and actual damages inflicted, as well as malice and intent. And you guys will already be in Guantanamo Bay for war crimes and other heinous acts that you guys committed unknowingly, attempting to just simply create a living for yourself, I presume, but you ended up stealing from people who are not subject to such treatment. And you don't have the authority to do that. Anytime a public official acts outside of their scope of duty, you guys are without insurance and you are without any kind of protection, and would probably void your policy, because the actions you guys are committing are not protected nowhere in any form of law, in any venue. And since you have filed all of these things, the proof is in the pudding. I don't have to even look for nothing. You guys have to register with the Secretary of State. So, Secretary of State's going to come after you too. You're coming after the securities register and the name, the full legal name, and you're acting as the legal guardian or representative of a minor who is an incompetent, but is also a decedent because it cannot sign for itself. I have to sign. And if I have to sign, that's my property. That's my labor. I didn't pledge my labor. I thought slavery was illegal within the United States. Well, if you're an instrumentality of the United States, well, why are you enslaving? Oh, because you're not an instrument of the United States. Oh. Okay. Well, that answers a lot of things. I guess this means that you guys are those people in the Bible that were falsely accusing the righteous ones without just cause. And you know what? Even if you are truly a government entity, and I just showed you the whole video that you guys are not acting as a government, there is a 1099 form for the backup withholding on every single bond that was entered into the record, for every single ticket that was ever signed and filed and collected on. Yeah, you got to return all of that to the IRS. But it all has to be returned to the trust as well, Keith O'Brien Stocks. But I'm done talking. That's it for this video. And for all of you people who keep disliking my videos, it's probably because you are the kind of people that you will accept money for your soul. And the things that are in life that are free, you take advantage of. And you don't appreciate it. And you guys are the reason why we one day, very soon, are going to wish that the United States would step in and help you. But meanwhile, you won't even complete a simple SS5 form for a Social Security card properly. You won't even fill it out correctly because you won't even read it. You're just going to fill it out to get one. You're not even going to read what you're agreeing to do. It's a contract, so you're not even going to read the terms of the contract. But you want to sit there and cry when they pull you over. That's ignorance. So I have no pity for ignorance. Now, if you're trying to learn this, well, that's a different story. But even then, how willingness to learn? Absolutely mandatory. And you also have to have a high willingness to accept change. What are you willing to give up? And if you're not willing to give it up, then quit crying and just accept it, the reality that you will always be a loser. Because you're not willing to do whatever it takes to get what you want. And you're sitting there crying about losing. And guess what? That's why you're unhappy. But at the end of the day, you guys better start reading the doggone these definitions that are inside of these forms you're filling out. Because I promise you, if you fill it out correctly, you should not be paying for nothing in your life. Everything should be properly discharged according to the laws that were put out and the banking regulation requirements that are kept at the Federal Reserve when you register with the Federal Reserve for your estate or for your trust or for your foundation or whatever you are using as a vessel to carry your commercial burdens during the emergency. You're not required to provide a Social Security number for employment or for anything, any purpose. It doesn't matter what they say. You can enforce a remedy if they do, but you got to do the research to understand that you even have a remedy, and it's already written within the code. It's codified within the statutes. And I ain't promoting no statutes because it's copyrighted material. Look in the front of any official code of Georgia annotated, any revised Michigan statute, any Florida, Texas, it doesn't matter. Texas, the state codes. And while those laws are very similar to the de jure estate laws of England, they are codified. So therefore, this is not England. But you can still bind them under their oath of office and hold them to that on the record. And then when you go back and you find out that they're over here falsely reporting by requesting their W-9 and read the instructions on the W-9, it's going to explain to you that you have a right, not only a right, but an obligation to pay backup withholding on anybody that you pay to the payee. If you pay somebody, you have to send them a W-9 to be sent back with their taxpayer information, along with attestation or certification that they did not, they are not subject to backup withholding, and that the name that they are using is the name at which they used when they made the contract with an individual. Otherwise, that's evidence right there in itself, and proof of crimes conspiring to defraud the United States. And these are terroristic activities that you guys are committing against the United States. And that I will report anybody committing fraud against the United States, because I am Private First Class Keith O'Brien Stocks. It's my full legal name, but it is also the minor. So at the attainment of the age of majority, my name became Asar Taure, which is my title of nobility as the elder of my tribe as a Native American. And I am not a black man, as I have repeatedly stated, as well as filed in the SF Standard Form 181 that was sent to the Office of Budget Management for filing and letting them know the election of my race for Keith O'Brien Stocks, which is white. Any person having ties with the original peoples of North Africa and Europe. And the Garden of Eden was in Europe. The oldest bones of mankind was found in Europe. They called her Lucy. So guess what? I'm white. I'm not black. I'm not a black racial group of Africa, which is a continent, not a nation, nor nationality, nor a race. Because you gotta be a man in order to be mankind. And there is no such status that has any rights to which a white man is to respect, as stated in Dred Scott versus Sanford. You have to understand the nature of who you're dealing with. You are not dealing with an incompetent. You are dealing with one who has attained the age of majority and has since not had any disabilities other than the disabilities that arise in the actions used to injure me by the parties mentioned in this video, as well as those who are not mentioned, but all have acted in conspiracy to defraud a minor's estate that I administer, as well as to defraud my estate and my family from accessing our inheritance. And these are some of the most heinous crimes that I am alleging. And I do encourage you to provide me with any proof that any of the things that I am saying here are incorrect. And then I will destroy this video. As well as I will provide you guys remedy to the fullest extent that law will permit. For I will transmit any amount that you request in the form of a bond to secure the debt, in case I am making up false accusations on you men and women, and I'm causing you injury and harm to your name. But when we flip this coin, if you cannot answer this video and You cannot dispute each and every fact alleged in its entirety, then I am afraid that you have not met your burden of proof, and that you guys are liable for that 2.5 something billion dollars that is owed to Keith O'Brien Stocks Trust and to my person. And it is going to be collected on very shortly. But you got 30 days to respond to this presentment that I am presenting to you for either acceptance or for dishonor. And I'm coming to you honorably as a man, without recourse and with full immunity. I am Asar Tahore, doing business as Keith O'Brien Stocks, my full legal name, and in my proper persons and persona. I'm not pro se, I'm sui juris, without legal disability. I have attained the age of majority, and I am not under any duress, nor am I forced in making this video in any sort of way. And that everything that I state is true and correct under penalty of perjury, pursuant to the laws of the land. And I declare that my intent is to report any fraudulent tax crimes against the United States or their instrumentalities. So, that's it for this video, you guys. And to you people who keep disliking some of my videos, I take it very personally, because I don't even reveal how I feel. I reveal what is documented or what is happening. And I do so to be transparent, not to try to act like I'm some kind of sovereign guy who practicing some kind of concepts just to get something for free. No. I am literally a man of the law. And the highest law that there is the laws of the universe. And these laws have formed all the other laws that come into existence and are a byproduct of each previous law. Please donate. I can't pay my rent. I will put the link in the description. And also, go to my website and sign up for any services you can use. But there are a lot of things there that'll benefit people, especially small business owners, looking to take their brand up to a professional level that it can rival Fortune 500 companies. And at the same time, it's easy to be done. It's not complicated, and you don't have to have any experience with owning a business. Although I do encourage you to continuously read the books that are going to be listed on my website, because these books will help you get more familiar with corporations and how they act. And also, I'm going to make a new website for you guys at this channel, Identity Conspiracy. I might share this on multiple channels, but if you go to my website, myurls.co/Keith Stocks, you should be able to find many assets and services that can definitely increase your value that you have to offer to your subscribers or customers or people that you provide a service for in the community that you use to create your income or create your or just do for the community. If you have a nonprofit or a foundation established for your family estate, as you know, I think, I think is a good idea. So I did it. But it's not legal advice. I don't deal in such matters of legality. I deal in the law. I'm a man, so I have to. I deal in the private, so I have to. And the private status is real. The private status is a legal person. A private citizen. One who does not have to answer to a sovereign, for the sovereign is the suit of the sovereign and is regal retinue. And that came from corpus juris secundum. But the suit of the sovereign is the office, and that would be the office of man. The office of man is higher than the office of any public office, because that office comes first naturally in the order of succession when exercising the laws, including the laws of nature, including the laws of the universe, the universal pillars of laws, 48 laws of power, the doggone IRS code. It don't matter what laws you're talking about. The law is the law, but the real law is the scripture. And I mean the original scripture that got translated for us, not the translation, not the copyright, the real deal. So that's it for this video, you guys. This will be the longest video I ever got on this channel, but there's so much knowledge in here for you to take, and the right people will make the right decisions with the information that I've just given you on how to expose thieves attempting to steal the interest that is entitled to be surrendered to the grantor or to the trust. And it's required to be transferred because it's the will of the minor. If the minor is deceased, do you think the minor would want his fruits of his labor, his full faith and credit that was pledged, that he just wants to just let that all go? Or do you think he wants to let that go to his posterity, to his future generations, so that they can have the resources to survive, independent of any dependency of a minor who's incapacitated and unable to handle their financial affairs and commerce in this world under the international bankruptcy? Because you most definitely have to be involved with a trust that is involved with the Hague, which is the Convention on International, the UNICEF Convention, on the treaties on international bills of exchange and promissory notes. These are the things that you need to know if you're going to be able to write your own instruments, but yet you're making your own instruments every time you sign a document. Every time your signature hits a piece of paper, it is a taxable event. But you're not filing the backup withholding, nor are you notifying the IRS that backup withholding has been sought. So therefore, they're going to assume and presume that you are aiding and assisting such activities, even though that's not the case. It's just ignorant, does not pay. That's it for this video.